that'll help them in the future is hopefully they learn from this game. It feels like Day always wants to just kind of like open, like air raid and attack teams. They have such good running backs. Trayvon Henderson and Mayan Williams combined for 171 yards. Sometimes in certain games, you just need to just mash teams. This kind of goes back to Alabama last year in the playoffs against Cincinnati. Cincinnati had a good secondary, and Nick Saban was like, "That's great. We're just going to run it on you." So,
yeah.
Okay, how about your I'm not playing your loser of the week? I'm going to go with here's the gathering of the Scott Satterfield fan club. Yeah, there's one guy rooting for him still, the coach at University of Louisville. Just one guy. He's in trouble, guys. That was a horrible game.
Yes, he is. Because you can't say it's not having players. Now, it may be having players that haven't played together coming through the portal, but that's coaching. And I've been a Scott Satterfield supporter, but you can't embarrass yourself like they did. I mean, both sides of the ball, they were embarrassed. That one stings. And now they're coming to, UCF. And UCF, oh, man, can you imagine? Those boys are just licking their chops because offensively, they'll take it to them. I mean, they've got 3 running backs at UCF that are just killers. And then you got the one outside receiver who's really good. So, yeah. I'm afraid Scott Satterfield may as well go ahead and put the sign in the front yard.
Ouch!
Damn,
Ouch!
Man. Game 1 week.
I will kind of
co-sign. It's cold in here. It's cold.
I will kind of co-sign with Lugs. I've defended Satterfield, but just how bad they were on defense. I mean, again, just how bad they were at tackling and just how wide open people were. And Cunningham did not play well, but this kind of goes back 2 years where we talked about, like, obviously Cunningham has turnover problems. He did a good job last year of not having it creep up on him, but I believe he had 2 interceptions and a lost fumble in this game. So, but the one thing I will say to kind of like be an apologist for him, I just think the problem with U of L is Cunningham has to do so much. There's so much pressure on him because like the defense isn't that good. I don't know how good I mean, again, the running game had showed flashes, but like I just think so much is put on him that it does probably affect him just like during a season, like getting whittled down. So
I mean, that was like they were totally outclassed the whole game. That was like an FCS team versus FBS. I mean, it just didn't even look like they're in the same class. That quarterback for Syracuse, he's like all world, man. So anyway.
Yeah.
I was Tucker, the running back, man.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there were times when they had him, and they just could not wrap up. That's technique. That's coaching.
I guess I guess my last thing I want to bring up in terms of, at least I'm going to say my bronze nosing, where I'm going to nominate who I think is sniffing for a Heisman.
Yeah, Stetson Bennett. Come on,
Florida. No. Was still quarterback, because I mean, look, it's pretty much always quarterback anymore. But Florida's quarterback Anthony Richardson. I mean, he announced his candidacy for the trophy when he had that 45-yard run before half for a touchdown. I mean, you watch that play, that's just insane. Because Utah's a legitimately top 10 team. They were a good team. And actually, they made errors in which they lost. Florida should have lost that game. And it wasn't because of Anthony Richardson, because their defense really couldn't stop. They couldn't really stop Utah. I don't think Utah just had to essentially trip over themselves, which happened on a drive close to the end zone. And then if you look at his throw on the 2-point conversion, he did like a pirouette, and then he spun around to the outside, and he shot like a frozen rope to a guy in the back of the end zone to put them up, I believe 22-19. And just, the platoon of Johnson, Etienne, and him are going to give defenses nightmares in terms of their running attack. So my bronze nosing is Anthony Richardson.
Anthony Richardson, the block.
And they play, I believe UK.
Kentucky this week.
Yeah. that will be interesting. That will let you know. I think Kentucky's defense can handle it. Will Levis, the quarterback, I swear, I don't know. It shows me that Stoops can handle defense. He recruits good defensive players and offensive linemen. But Levis, I mean, he makes me a little nervous when he goes back to pass. He's got them happy feet. So I wish Kentucky well this week. It would be nice to see one major university in the state do well.
I was hoping Levis would sign a deal with Levi's and make some money, but he mispronounces his own name. So what's that about? Should be Levi's.
Levi's.
Yeah, Levi's.
Levi's. Come on, baby.
Right there at the Bluegrass Mall or something, right?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Will Levis. Come in and see your Levi's. I mean, I'm no genius.
Yeah.
All right, so was that about it on college? Anything else on NCAA college football?
Just it's fun to have it back.
Yeah.
Just the craziness. I'm sure Luggs was holding on, clutching his pearls for UNC barely beat Appalachian State. They did hang on.
App State, but, baby, always comes through.
You talk about no defense. I mean, that's a basketball score. 63 to 61. It is.
Great.
It was a couple. They were a couple of free throws ahead, and that was about it.
A couple of three-pointers from the outside. Yeah, no kidding. Michael Jordan with a spectacular move. Yeah. Luggs, do you have sports of yesteryear for this week? Here we go.
I believe we do.
Bring it on up. Here we go. Sports of yesteryear takes us back to the Wayback Machine when Luggs was just a pup. And he comes to us from his home state, wherever that is, in his used Buick. Luggs, come on in. Hello? Luggs.
All right. Here we go. For our cricket fans, in 1880, W.G. Grace scores 152 in debut Test cricket innings at Oust the Oval. Don't ask me to explain that one. I have no clue. 1920, Jack Dempsey KOs Billy Misk in 3 for the heavyweight boxing title. It's the first radio broadcast of a prize fight. 1943, Carl Scheib becomes the youngest pitcher in American League history at 16 years and 8 months. I believe he's the older uncle of Earl Scheib, so he could paint your car.
Any car, any color, 1995, right.
And that's a reference only old Johnny Carson fans would get, probably. In 1963, historian Lee Allen says the then Cleveland Indians beat the Washington Senators as they played the 100,000th game in Major League Baseball history. 1995, sticking with baseball, Cal Ripken Jr. breaks Lou Gehrig's record. He plays in 2,131 games. And finally, in 2008, U.S. Open women's tennis, Serena Williams wins her 3rd U.S. title. She beats Helena Hanakovic of Serbia 6-4, 7-5. And Serena lost this year and will apparently retire after this Open. That's sports of yesteryear for this moment.
Thank you, Luggs, for that run down the runway of the days gone by. Okay, a question. Earl Scheib, right. He'd paint any car, any color for $39.95. Is that about what you remember?
Yeah, it was $69.95.
$69.95.
One color, one day.
No ups, no extras. Okay, quick story. My father had like a convertible, all right? And he took it to Earl Scheib to get it painted. Guess what? The old Earl Scheib burned to the ground with his car inside. Yes, sir.
Wow.
Lost the car. It was a nice car. I think it was like a Plymouth convertible, like a classic. And good old Earl Scheib bit the dust, and so did Dad's fancy yellow convertible. It was kind of like that convertible, Curious George's guy with the big yellow hat drives. One of those. All right, so NFL
like
is
Belvedere or something.
yeah, Plymouth Belvedere. I think that's right. Whatever happened to those? All right, NFL is here. What games are you looking forward to the most? Luggs, take it away. What game is high on your radar?
Well, I like the one that kicks off the season, the Rams and the Bills.
Thursday night.
Yeah, everybody's talked about Matthew Stafford's elbow and all of that. I just don't think that that's going to play into it. Rams did lose left tackle Andrew Whitworth, and right tackle Havenstein is in the final year of his contract, but they did get Allen Robinson from the Bears. Lucky for him. Defensively, they have Aaron Donald and Leon Floyd to get after the opposing quarterback. Now, for the Bills, they're sort of the uncrowned champions, according to most everybody at this point. I mean, they're really talented. Josh Allen at quarterback, great receivers, Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, Isaiah McKenzie. And they also have Devin Singletary and rookie James Cook at running back. And that James Cook is Dalvin Cook's baby brother.
Correct.
Defensively, they're relatively young. They did add Von Miller at linebacker, and he joins one of my favorite names, Boogie Basham. Boogie Basham. Basham. I like that name. And Shaq Lawson at defensive end. While everybody thinks that Buffalo is going to take the Super Bowl, I'm on the outside on this one. I'm picking the Rams. I got faith in Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
So that's my top game right there.
You're jumping on that Ram bandwagon. Okay, T-Dog, how do you see that game? Rams, Bills, the kickoff on Thursday Night Football.
Rams Bills. I believe Lugs is usually better at this than I am, but I believe what the guys in the desert have two and a half point favorites. Buffalo. Lugs, do you know off the top of your head?
The wise guys.
Yeah, it was close, but I'm still picking the Rams right here. I have to go on record as saying, but those are two really good teams. Good teams.
I think it's really exciting in that. To be fair, both of them are both two of the top teams from last year, but they have some interesting things to go through. Obviously, Brian Daboll, who was the offensive coordinator for Buffalo, he is no longer there. So University of Miami, great. Ken Dorsey takes over. I don't know how much it'll be a difference, but it'll be. It might be subtle, but it will be a difference. So it'll be interesting how that affects them. I mean, adding Von Miller, who was with Denver and then obviously was a part of that Super Bowl run for the Rams, is now a part of Buffalo. Gives them a closer in terms of pass rusher just to help them close out games when they have the lead. And supposedly Ed Oliver, their defensive tackle, has supposedly in camp has looked fantastic. So if he has the light finally switch on for them, like Buffalo, who is already great, could be completely terrifying on defense. On the other side of the ball, you lose Whitworth, you lose Odell Beckham, at least for the time being. He hasn't signed with anyone, and he's still recuperating from the ACL injury. But you add Allen Robinson, who, this is the first time he's playing with professional level quarterbacks.
Whoops.
No, that's not true. But it's definitely the best. It's definitely the best. It's definitely the best.
You gotta say that's true. That's true.
Okay. So, that is a good win for them. But still, they're starting running back is Cam Akers, who's coming off of a torn Achilles. In history, usually indicates that for you to maybe get close to what you were, it's bizarre to say this because he showed flashes last year, but Deontay Foreman. It took him like 2 years to come back from a torn Achilles. So usually it's a multiple year injury. They have Darrell Henderson behind him. I'm also going to go with the Bills just because they lost Andrew Whitworth. I don't know how you kind of replace a guy who, even at 40, you could set it and forget it. Like he's on that side. You don't have to worry about.
Forget it. Yeah.
And you worry about, I do worry about Stafford's arm. I mean, that they were so precautious about protecting him. They didn't even allow, I know, maybe I'm getting worked. I know, I know you all said I'm getting worked, but I have to agree. I'm probably going Buffalo.
All right. I'm going LA on this one. Okay. T-Dog, what game are you looking forward to other than that one? What's another one?
I think off the top of my head, I'm looking forward to the Chargers in Vegas.
Yeah,
just because they closed out the regular season. Vegas won a great game where Herbert in defeat showed you why he is a top 3 quarterback. He made crazy throw after crazy throw just to keep the Chargers alive. And They added Khalil Mack. They added J.C. Jackson, who is not going to be able to play, I believe, because he's recovering from a surgery.